Hello everybody, this is Ravi. In this video I want to show you a book that I made, so this is going to be a flip through. I just wanted to come in and say hello. I am currently staying with friends, so I'm in this beautiful apartment in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I want to show you the book that I made a couple of months ago. So I was very lucky to be able to go on a creative retreat in France, and I was playing in this beautiful studio with other artists and creatives and writers and knitters and actors, and we all got together and kind of all worked on our own project, and I made this book. I was finally able to visit the house in which Anne Frank lived her final years in Amsterdam before she was captured and taken to a concentration camp. And I was very moved by the experience and just going through the spaces and the pages of her diary, and I just had the idea that I wanted to make a book dedicated to her and kind of make a book that looked a little bit like her diary. And so I created this book when I was on retreat, and then decided that this book was going to be a gift for a friend of mine who was actually related to Anne Frank. I'm going to show you every page, and I'm going to go flip through this book. The cover is some tablecloth, I believe, which I found in a scrap store in England when I was visiting my dear friend and co-author Jane Chip, and I found this tablecloth that looked exactly like the diary that Anne Frank wrote in, the first of her diaries. And so I bought that paper, I bought that kind of tablecloth, which became the cover of my book. So the book is made of 4 signatures that are stitched onto the cover, and I added some beautiful beads, and the cover has a little frame with a photo of Anne Frank and some red yarn. I love the symbolism of red thread, so that's very common in my work. It closes with a little belt on its side, and the belt is decorated with some thread and ribbon and pieces of fabric. And this was Anne's name on the first page. And then the book is, as always, very weathered, and it mixes a lot of different textures and objects and fabrics and paper. This is a print on silk, and I tried to incorporate as many quotes from our diaries, and she was very clever for a child, and some of her words are just really beautiful imagery and powerful sort of statements. And memories mean more to me than dresses is one of them. And then I incorporated some original photos from my collection that obviously aren't her face, but it kind of could well be of that time, or it could have been her. But and then I also incorporated some from her actual family. This is her family, and this is her up here. There's a variety of techniques in here. This is an image transfer, and I love kind of the imperfection and how some of the detail just goes missing, and it still gives this really powerful image. This is some wallpaper and lace, and I also stitched this page's close with some wire. Dear Kitty is how she would write her diary, and then this is just asemic writing that I did. There's a lot of slow stitch in this book and quite a few found objects, and I love this medal with a star, 6-point star, which remind me of the Star of David. This is some of the slow stitch in this double spread, time in the annex, and time stops in the annex. The annex was the place in which she was hiding in the house in Amsterdam. Remember. This is a vintage, probably antique actually, glove that I found in France on retreat that I thought looked like a child's glove, and it could have been of her time. And this is a photo of Anne with her sister, and I kind of made it look like it was an original with this decal edge scissors and kind of adding some staining and some burning of the photo. This is one of my favorite techniques that I teach all the time, which is the photo kintsugi or kintsugi, which is created breaking a photo in half and adding gold leaf to bring it back together, which is an ancient Japanese practice done in pottery, and this is my kind of take on it with found photos. I love this photo of a child with a kite. That's not Anne Frank, this is an original, but then I put it next to this print, so that kind of brings it all together. This is silver leaf, and this is called enso, and it's a Japanese symbol. It's a circle without beginning and end, which represents infinity. In an annex, I was able to find this in a book, which was really nice. And then I created this little kind of peekaboo moment. The annex was hidden behind a bookshelf. And so the bookshelf kind of slides to the side to reveal the opening of a door. And I found this photo of a child hiding behind a tree. And I thought it kind of gave that idea of the annex in which she was hiding. And then I also added this playing card, which I imagine would have been a common way to spend the time while in hiding. And this card was actually a beautiful gift from one of the friends I was on retreat with, and she's a knitter, and she gave me this vintage playing card. This is another one of our quotes from our diary. In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. And this has got a lot of candle wax that I was kind of playing with and started pouring wax onto the page. And on this side as well. Because paper has more patience than people. In the long run, the sharpest weapon of all is a kind and gentle spirit. And the sharpest is written on a blade. This was a craft knife blade that I found outside the studio space in France where I was working on this book. And it was a rusty blade from a X-Acto knife, and I just stitched it on with wire and wrote the sharpest on the blade. No one has ever become poor by giving. And some more stitching on the side, and this is copper wire. And this is the end. I hope you enjoyed this video, and most of all, I hope my friend Wendy enjoys this gift.